Hello again, everybody. This is Mr. Everything. I'm coming at you with another Wargaming channel update. This is my YouTube, Twitch channel update. If you haven't come to any of these, I do these monthly to kind of keep my community up to date on what's going on with the world of Mr. Everything and my channel. Now, as you know, we do a lot of miniature wargaming. We do card games, board games, role-playing games. Computer games. We do a lot of different gaming on the channel, so we basically have a little bit of everything for everyone. Okay, having said that, let me back up and say last month was pretty exciting. We had NashCon down in Nashville. It was an exciting time. We got to play a lot of bolt action. We ran a market garden session, which had the 3 tables, and that went over really well. Okay, but let me back up and say this. That was a lot of work. It took me 3 or 4 months to get all the armies painted up, the terrain built. It took a lot of resources. When I say resources, I mean I spent a lot of money on it. Mainly the terrain, and some of the tanks and some of the troops and stuff like that. It wasn't extremely crazy, but I'm just saying, as a matter of fact, it did happen. Okay, so now we're in September, and I was planning next week to run a Market Garden game on stream for you guys to see, bolt action and all that. And I still might do that. It just depends on my players, how they feel, or if they want to be able to participate. Because we just started a D&D campaign that we're playing every Thursday. And we've only had one session in. One night we made characters, and then the second night a couple of players made characters, and then we were playing. We had 6 people at the table. That's about capacity for this table for role playing. Because of the papers you got on, your character sheets and your dice and all that stuff. And then my table in the middle, my mat, with all the miniatures and terrain and stuff like that. And then my end of the table where I keep all my books and the module and my notes and all that stuff, right? So because this is a ping pong table, there's not really, it's not built for people to be sitting at it. And you can bump your knees on little parts of the table and stuff like that. And the chairs, I do have 7 chairs. If you count the one I'm sitting on right now, I do have 7 chairs. And a 7th player wants to play. I don't like turning players away and telling them, hey man, we're already maxed out. But I think it's going to be cramped if all 7 players show up. I don't mind being cramped. Personally, I don't mind being cramped, just as long as everybody's having a good time, right? I suspect, and this is just me speaking out loud, thinking to myself, I suspect that 2 of the players, not mentioning any names, but I think 2 of the players are not going to be regulars. I think they're going to show up from time to time. So what that means is we're going to have 5 players around the table, and we're going to be comfortable. 5 players around this table is just perfectly fine. That's great. Even 6 is okay. So if 1 shows up every now and then we'll have 6. If they both show up, then we'll have 7, but only for that night, right? If they continue to show up over and over, we'll see what the players think. If they think, hey, we got too many players, let's kick some players, but nobody wants to be that guy that says you can't play. I mean, I don't want to be that guy. None of the other players want to be that guy. And usually when you have more players around the table, you have more interactions, you have more discussions, you have more arguments, you have more of everything, right? The downside is when it comes to fighting, me as the referee, I have to understand that 7 players outnumber most of the monster encounters. So I'm going to have to modify the monster encounters, give them some advantage, like caltrops in the room, or traps, or more of them. So like, let's say the module calls for 3 goblins to be in the room, but it's normally expecting 3 to 4 players to come in the room. So that would be a challenging fight. But when 7 players come in, those 3 goblins mean nothing. So I've been thinking about maybe upping it to double, 6, because 7 is almost double 4, so that's something I'm considering. But what that does is it makes more paperwork and more tracking of the encounters, where I can't just run it as written and stuff like that. Means I have to do some more modifications. I don't mind doing it, but I'm just understanding that I will need to do it. Okay, having said that, I don't think we're going to stream this. We streamed a couple of RPGs in the past. I didn't get very many views. I got like 1 or 2 views per night, live. And then afterwards got like 30 or 40 views afterwards, which that's fine. We're not professionally set up. I don't have specific hanging camera mounts that shoot across to the players. I got lighting, but like, it's not really a studio set up where all the players can sit on one side of the table and all the cameras on the other. We don't have that kind of a setup. We don't have, I got 3 cameras of various qualities. I got a 4K, a 1080p, and a 1080p 30 frames. So using those cameras on the screen, you get kind of 3 different quality levels of the cameras. I would have to get like 3 of the 4Ks, or 4 actually. I thought about this morning. I was like, if I really wanted to do a good job streaming, I'd have to have 1 camera facing that side of the table, another camera facing this side of the table, which is what we do, 1 camera on the end facing me, and then another camera facing down at the playmat, so you can see what's going on. And then what we'd need, maybe somebody managing the cameras, doing screen swaps and stuff like that. But we don't have all that. We're here to have fun role playing and just playing. And because of that, these guys they're not, what's the word? And I don't mean these guys as in a whole or as an individual. I mean, as a whole, they're not camera shy. What's the word I'm looking for? They're not photogenic. That's not what I mean, because they take good pictures. When it comes to video, they're not playing up to the audience, is what I'm saying. They're not I don't know exactly what I'm trying to say. I just don't think it's a good dynamic. I don't think these players are wanting or caring, is what I'm saying, about the video, right? That's just me. So I considered doing an online game where I put in the recruiting statement that we would be recording it, we would be broadcasting it, and I only want players that are comfortable with that. And then I could limit it to just 4 players or 5 players or whatever. And but then all my friends said, let's play live. I want to play at the table. And I was like, okay, let's do that. That's what we'll do. And all right, what I'm trying to say is, for the foreseeable future, and the next few months or whatever, maybe longer, we're going to be playing D&D on Thursday nights, and I'm probably not going to be streaming that. So what that basically means, I'm not going to be doing very many live streams at the table. Now, we will be doing live streams on the computer for various computer games. I still have my okay, so let's talk about my schedule, so you can kind of get an idea of what's going on. Okay, schedule-wise, I have a job that the hours at work have changed. We're now opening earlier and closing later. So in the past, I was doing some live streaming after everyone goes to bed and I'm the only one awake in the house. I'll set up my live stream and I'll stream, and that's usually 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. And by doing that, I get no interruptions, no distractions, nothing like that's going on. But what that does to me is it keeps me up till about 2 a.m., which I have no problem. I'm a night owl anyway. But then I would sleep, and I would sleep in a little bit later because I wouldn't have to go to work till 10 o'clock or something like that. So that was no problem for me. But now that our hours at work have become earlier, and they like to schedule me in the morning, I'm not going to be able to do those live streams on a regular basis on the same day. Like I had been doing, like Friday night after midnight was my Star Citizen stream. You know, I'd stream a couple hours of Star Citizen just to keep up to date every Friday. But now if I'm opening super early on Saturday, that's becoming unfeasible. But I will be off at some point during the week, obviously. And that day off sometimes fluctuates. But right now I've noticed it's usually Wednesday and Thursday. And if that's the case going forward, I could do a live stream like Wednesday night and then sleep in on Thursday, which is my normal D&D game. So I might change that Star Citizen stream to Wednesday night. So that's tentative. So keep your eyes peeled to the channel if you're one of the guys that like to watch my Star Citizen live streams, or if you want to check that out. It'll now be done probably on Wednesday nights. Throughout the week, I was streaming City of Heroes because that's my favorite MMO of all time, and so I play every night. I do play every night, maybe a couple hours every night, and from time to time, I'll turn the camera on. There was a threat to me from another player about streaming. He said something about don't announce the fact that you're or he said don't stream City of Heroes or they'll ban your account. And I was like, really? Yeah, because they're afraid of maybe NCSoft getting involved, right? And so I was like, oh, okay. So I stopped my stream midstream. So I went to the forums and I discovered they did he misquoted them. They did put a post out about streaming, and it said it's perfectly okay to stream. We just don't want you to announce your stream in game. So they don't want you to be saying, hey guys, go view my stream in the chat or whatever. But they don't mind you streaming it and talking to your audience and showing off the game and stuff like that. They don't mind that. So I'll have to change, because I did post in there that I was streaming. So I'll just have to refrain from posting in game that I'm streaming and just stream from time to time. Just turn on the stream and let my community, the ones that might be watching this video, come check out my stream. And again, those are usually late at night. Now understand that I'm at Central Time, so whatever, that's 5 hours, that's like 5 a.m. in England, I do believe. And it's only like 10 p.m. in California, so, and I'm not sure about Australia, but around the world, that midnight time frame works for some people. It doesn't work for others, you know. So like 5 a.m. is, most people are not up at 5 a.m. So I'm going to say most of my England audience is probably not watching my videos live at midnight, but they might be watching them later, you know, because when I record it on stream, it goes up to the channel automatically. Recently, Phoenix Point has been updated to Backer Build 5. To me, that almost feels like a completed game. So I've been playing it a lot, and I've been putting a video up every day. So if you've been watching my channel, That's all you've been seeing is Phoenix Point since like the 5th or the 3rd or something like that. And literally, those have been the only videos I've uploaded. So that's going to continue until I run into some kind of blocker that, like, maybe I finish it or something. Or the game releases in December. So that's going to happen. I haven't painted anything. I haven't assembled a model. Haven't done any of that since NashCon because I felt a little worn out for having done all that Market Garden stuff. But I did do this right before the Market Garden. This is a fountain. And I used the Liquitex water effects in the water of the fountain. And I made some close-ups. So here they are. Take a look at them. It's pretty cool. I wanted you to see that up close because of the quality of it. I thought it looked really good. Okay, at the convention, I bought 3 miniatures that I do plan to paint possibly on stream. This is an adult Remoraz, which it's scary looking. It's like a centipede, but not. It's like a ice centipede. And then I also have a shambling mound. That's going to be exciting. That's going to be fairly easy. It's going to be mostly greens and dirts colors. And then these slads. These are gray and death slads. So I'm going to have to find out exactly what colors those are supposed to be. It looks like gray and dark gray. But we'll see. Because I don't have any slads. I don't have a shambling mound. And I don't have any Remorazes, so I went ahead and bought those. Now, this is just a point. I would have bought a lot more, but the guy that was selling these miniatures didn't have a credit card machine or no way to swipe a credit card, so I could only get these because that was the only amount of cash that I had on me. I would have bought more. I was going to buy this dragon, but he didn't accept credit cards. Okay, I do have a couple of videos that I do plan to make later this afternoon. One of them is going to be about my D&D game. I'm going to talk about the characters and their motivations. Just so you guys get to kind of keep up. Even though I'm not live streaming, at least you'll get the after action videos. That's what I plan to do. I plan to do a video after the games to kind of keep you up to date on how the campaign's going. But I'm going to try to leave out any spoilers because if any of my players are watching, I don't want them to hear about the motivations of the villains. But also, I don't want you to know the motivations of the villains. And maybe you be surprised when something happens as well. So I'm just going to tell you, like, matter-of-factly, what actually happened in the game. And then last thing, I do want to make another video also about D&D. But it's basically, when did it become okay to be evil? And basically, I'm going to discuss some of the... Okay, I love D&D. I think D&D is a great system. Mechanically, it's a great system. But there's some things I don't like about it, and I want to share that with you. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot that I do have the Gates of Antares rule book, pretty thick hardback, very similar to Bolt Action rules, but it uses D10s, and there are some other modifications in there. So I was going to do like a boot camp on this, like a chapter by chapter rule set evaluation and understanding and tutorial. I was going to do that. I still have that on the agenda at some point. And I have one of their campaign books, The Battle for Xylos, The Builders Awake. I was thinking about maybe doing some of these scenarios and building some troops that fit into some of the storyline, just to branch out and get away from the historical stuff that I've been doing. I did Romans and Germans, and then I did my Agincourt armies, medievals. I even did a little bit of the Macedonians, not very many. I still have an army box of Macedonians I haven't even touched. I've did all these World War II figures. I did this whole American War of Independence, right? So I've done a lot of historicals, and I want to kind of branch out and get away from historicals and maybe get into some sci-fi. and so I was going to do Gates of Antares because of the cost of the figures, from everything that I've seen about bolt action and all the other figures that Warlord Games makes. I think I'm going to be happy. This is still shrink wrapped. I haven't opened it. I was thinking I was going to do a video of an evaluation of those figures to actually compare them against some like Warhammer figures or whatever, 40K, and then also assembly and painting of these guys. And this might be the army that I want to do, the Concord, but I don't know. So we'll figure that out. But I have kind of hesitation to do that because I'm kind of in the D&D mode right now. So I don't know if that'll be this month. It might be next month. I don't know. So as a recap, let's just say this is what we're doing. We're doing my City of Heroes streams are going to be random. They're going to be on there. I do play War Thunder a lot, but I'm starting to get a little upset with that company, the Gaijin company, because I'm starting to feel like it's not balanced. Originally I would joke about it. Other players would say, "Oh, Russian this and Russian that," and I'd be like, "Yeah, it's okay. You know, it's not way out of balance, or it's not like a broken game." But now they've introduced these missiles and jets with lock-on missiles and tow missiles, and which it's a war. It happened in war, but that doesn't make it a good game. And then there's these vehicles that, in my opinion, based on what I know about the hardware of those vehicles, they should not be doing what they're doing, or they're out of place. Like I'll see a BMP or a BTR, maybe a BTR or BMP. I'll see something like that in a World War II match. I'll be like, what the hell? It's just because they lowered the battle rating because it's got soft skin or lower armor, and the cannon doesn't do very good at World War III levels. It needs to be put into a match that fits with its capabilities, but that match is way out of its genre, and so that's why I'm getting disheartened with that game. It's like it's all about the matchmaking and not about the feeling of the battle. It's not. And at first, when there was limited vehicles and it was just World War II, I was super excited about that. I loved that game. But now that they've branched into the Korean War, into World War III, they got T-80s running around or some junk like that. They got M1 Abrams, They got helicopters and jets, and I'm like, no, this is just not what I'm into. This is not what I wanted. So I love the game, but I don't like the balance of the game, if that makes sense. I still play every day, maybe a match or two, but I try to stay way low in the battle ratings, and that I try to stay low enough that like post-war vehicles don't show up. So I'll be playing like Buffaloes or early Corsairs or F4Fs, 4s. But I won't be playing like the late P-51s because I love the P-51s. But then all of a sudden you see this Russian, MiG-17 or something show up in a match, and I'm like, what the heck, And so I'll stay in the early war period, Pacific probably, that era. Okay, got off topic. Okay, so I play War Thunder. Don't really stream it very often. Sometimes I do if something's really exciting happens, or if I need to talk about a patch or something like that, I'll stream it. But in general, I'm becoming more and more separated from War Thunder. I'm playing City of Heroes every night. Sometimes I'll randomly stream it. Star Citizen. I used to stream every Friday night. I think I'm going to be moving that to Wednesday night just so that I can sleep in a little bit because of my shift in schedule. Okay, those are the computer. Oh, and then Phoenix Point is going to be pretty much from now until eternity. I'm going to be playing Phoenix Point because I really like where that's going right now. That might change, but right now it's good. Okay, so that's what's going on the computer. And then on the miniature side, I've got some D&D miniatures that I think I'm going to be putting out and doing. And then I've got the Gates of Antares miniatures and rule explanations that I think I'll be doing as well. That should be coming up pretty soon. The D&D game, I'm going to do a video after, like an after-action review of what actually happened in the game, but not give you any insight to what the monsters or the major movers and players behind the curtain, because I don't want to reveal that to the players, but I also don't want to reveal it to you because I want you to discover it with the players. Okay, what else? I'm going to discuss miniature gaming with my players. We might do once a month or every other month. We might have a miniature game as opposed to the D&D game. We'll figure that out. I have way too many D&D players. I've got 7, but I don't think all of them will show. I think it'll be like a 5-player core, and then I think these 2 other players will show up periodically. So we'll have to see how it works. Okay, I did order and get in a bunch of gravestones. Okay, I've got these Renedra gravestones so that I could do like a cemetery model. I was planning on doing that at some point. And these sandbags I got in. I was going to put them on the tower, but I wound up never putting them on the tower. So these are just being held. I also have some craters. The craters I'm just going to hold on to for now. I was going to make like a tile with craters, but I pretty much want to put the tiles off to the side, not touch them for a while. And that's about it right now. Okay, guys. Well, I appreciate it. Oh, and then the 2 videos about D&D. One about the one about what I don't like about D&D and why is it okay to play evil characters. Basically, the dynamic change from D&D from the beginning, early days, and how it's kind of not transitioned, because I don't want to go through every year of D&D, but I just want the mentality of the players and why I think D&D is hurting humanity. It's just a concern that I have. So because I love D&D so much, that's why it's a concern. If I didn't care, I think there would be no concern. I would be like, whatever. All right, guys. I'll see you in the next video.